for this evening. Just a schedule note. We're going to be doing NHL from 6 to about maybe 6:20, 6:25. And at 6:30, I think we're going to come back and Bobby and I are going to do some NBA. And then at 7, I think we're both going to leave to build NBA lineups or whatever, and then maybe come back at 7:30 to do the NFL Showdown. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I just updated the sheets on the site, and again, I'm still working on getting this stack tool to work perfectly. It's not perfect, but it's almost perfect. But yeah, so let's just take a look at this for a minute. This is what the sheets look like, and then I'll pull up the stack tool, and then we'll just build. I do see. What do I see? Boy, I don't see a lot of value. Ooh, there you go. There's the value. So it looks as though the value is Adam Fantilli from Columbus, and then I also see a wingmate, a line mate from the power play right there. So this is probably going to be the value piece at least. Not to mention Fantilli is going to be a very good one-off. Another things I notice, Iafallo again is too cheap. He's moving up a little bit. So this Iafallo Connor thing still looks good. See a couple of Montreals showing up over here. Maybe like this power play line, like Monahan, Matheson, and Caulfield. And again, this is for hand built stuff. This is without having Saberson kind of take over it a little bit. So if I was going to hand build, it would probably be something like, well, see these Boston guys. I don't see any other Boston guys except for the top one. And same thing with McKinnon. Same thing with Kucherov. We do see Kucherov with Stamkos, but these are all really expensive. I think it's probably a good idea to go for these Winnipegs or these Columbus lines to make that work. So just for fun, before we do a Saberson build, let's go ahead and do that and see what that would look like. So what we're doing is building a lineup just using the sheets. Okay. Now the other thing you'll note is that is the goalie situation, because as you guys know, what I like to do is pick the cheapest goalie that rates well, and that would be Joel Hofer. So let's clear the deck here for this big buy-in. And again, I don't know this is exactly what we're going to do, but so we'll start with Hofer at 7K, and let's just build with what we just said. Let's build the Winnipeg lines first. So we'll build Connor, Iafallo, and then let's put those Columbus guys in. We'll put in who was it, Fantilli. And then who was the other guy that we saw? Well, I'll just pull up the sheet, it'll be easier. Gaudreau, and then Jenner, and Bernstrom. Well, not Bernstrom, he's on the second line. So Gaudreau and Jenner. So let's see. There's Gaudreau as a wing. Boone Jenner. So as you can see, you could do a good middling build with these types of dudes. What else from these guys? Winnipeg, I have Connor, I have Iafallo, and then don't really have other guys look that great, but Ehlers is going to look good probably. That's actually not bad. And then the defenseman we can put relatively easily. I mean, it depends on whether we want to go with Columbus or Winnipeg. We probably just take whoever's best correlated. So let's just take a look and see what the best defenseman is from those two teams. And that would be, well, we'll do it by team here. The Winnipeg, yeah, that's Morrissey. He always looks pretty good. He's perfectly correlated. And then on Columbus, best defenseman over there would be Swarenski. So either or, I mean, the same price, right? So let's just take a look. So if we did Werenski, defenseman, No, this would be Morrissey. And then we do a cheap 3,400, or instead we do Werenski and have a 3,500. So it's just a question of how whether you want to do which 4-3 we kind of want to do here. So who'd be the 4 and who'd be the 3? And then, of course, what I could do, I mean, in fact, I could turn this into a 5-2 if I wanted. There's a lot of things that I can do here. But to see a cheapo at defense, let me just see. And then we'll do the SaberSim builds, which is probably going to be more interesting. Wow. You actually is a good cheapo for Winnipeg at defense. Well, actually, not a good cheapo. I'm sorry. I was going to say DeMello is a pretty good cheapo at defense, but oh, so we have this dude. We have the Brady Sketch, or how we pronounce him, for Carolina. I hadn't seen him show up in like a while. But there's him. And then there's Sean Walker from Philadelphia. Just kind of take your pick, I guess. It's kind of a cheap one-off over there. And then you have something. And then actually, I can move up a goalie, actually, if I wanted. Sean Walker is not bad. And I'll get to SaberSim in just a second. 30. I could play the guy from St. Louis, Parayko. It's not bad. He's on the first line at least. And maybe something like that. And that's something that you could do, for example. And that's the way you use kind of like the sheets without having to use SaberSim to build. But as you guys know by now, I mean, I do like to use SaberSim quite a bit. So let's just see what those builds look like. Okay, so let's upload and just do no what I'm playing. I'm playing, I think, 50 lineups in the Kick Save, which is the MME, and one lineup in the Thursday night ice. I already put the contest sim stuff in, but I'll show you what I did. So we're uploading the sheets here. And first thing I want to do is I want to look at the, actually I don't need to look at that yet. So we're just going to build, start over. So no change in the settings, nothing like that. We're just going to build 50 lineups. And this is kind of like the beginning, This is I don't want to say the minimum, but if you use SaberSim, if you even just do this, what SaberSim, again, just a little bit of lesson, a little lesson for you guys. What SaberSim is doing right now is not building the projected optimal lineup. You know what I mean? Like what's going to have the highest median projection. It's taken into account correlation and to some degree ownership to build kind of high upside lineups based on their kind of default settings. So quite honestly, I mean, like if you want to get just a little taste of hockey, you could, as long as you have a SaberSim account, you just take my projections, throw it in here and rock, And there'll be one other tweak that I would recommend that you do. And then I'll show you that in a second. Because hockey is a very correlative sport. I mean, you really want to have stacks and things like that. You don't want to try to get too cute. I mean, I'm kind of like that with all sports, but like NBA, you don't need to be like that. But hockey for sure. Hockey's basically baseball on ice. All right, let's see. All right, so right now, like for example, before we make any changes, we'd be getting, just to show you the differences, we would be getting, well, first of all, we'll go to the teams in a second. We'd be getting about 35% Edmonton, 28% Carolina, 20% Dallas, 20%, pretty decent spread of teams. The other thing you'll note is that the stack exposure, this is something that I would tweak. So here you're getting about 32% of the 4-3s and 26% 5-2s, which is great. But you're getting these stacks, which I really don't ever want to use, especially on big slates. So what I would do is X out the 2-2s, the 2-2s, 2-2-2s. And actually, if you want to know the truth, I mean, I'll X out all of this stuff. I mean, I'll be nice and pure. I'll just play nothing but 5-2-4-3s and full onslaughts. And I think that's a very reasonable adjustment that you can make. And when I do that, it's like to see how that changes it. Now it's still Edmonton, Seattle, the Rangers. So if you wanted to, you can just do this right now and upload your lineups. But here's a couple of other tweaks you can make before we do the contest sim piece. One is you could change your min uniques to min uniques 2 or 3 or more. This kind of reduces your risk a little bit while keeping your exposures, not your exposures, but your the pool of lineups still pure. So if you do that, you make it min uniques 2. Doesn't change the stack exposure too much, but it actually gets you more Seattle, which is fine. So this is something you can do. This is actually a pretty good portfolio of lineups. So before I do anything, I am actually going to save those in my kick save here, because I might just keep that. I might not use the contest sims, but we'll just take a look and see what we do. Because this actually looks really, really good, if you want to know the truth. But let's run the contest sims. So again, this is what we did. We put contest sim settings. What you do is you put the number of people in, but now you could either from the contest page click which contest you want to sim, or sometimes here in payout structure they have a drop down with this stuff already previously populated, the contest size, percent to first, and all that stuff. So I did that for both the kick save and the whatever Disney on Ice, whatever you call it. So now we hit the run contest sims. And hopefully it doesn't take all too long. And this is you're struggling with what I'm struggling with, just waiting. Okay, so now the contest sims are done, and now we're going to rate these for each of these contests. One for kick save, and I prefer to use risk adjusted ROI. And you'll see what happens is when you do this, now you're getting more other teams. You're getting Winnipeg's, Dallas's, Montreal's. Now let's take a look at the stack exposures. Stack exposure we like, okay? So now you're in kind of an interesting situation. So what do you do? What do you do when you have two different builds? The contest sims give you this. In other words, the contest is what they're doing is purportedly making lineups specifically for the contest that you're in, specifically based on the ownerships that SaberSim is projecting. So you could do a lot of things. I mean, you could play 25 of each if you want. You could just go with whichever one you like. And honestly, I've had success with both. I had plenty of success before the contest sims ever came out. Like this one looks like really, really cool. Like a lineup like this. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. I think, let me see what would this look like. If I play just 25 lineups using the contest sims, let's just do that. And let's go back. Well, we can't actually go back to it. Actually, we can. We can go back to the Saber score one where we just saw this, right? Actually, I don't know what happened to it. That original build kind of disappeared. So that's okay. So I could take these 25, right? And I could just do this and put these 25 underneath what I have. And just kind of roll with that. And that's definitely, it's definitely permitted. As a matter of fact, I think that is what I'm going to do on a slate like this. So we'll pull these up, and then we'll just go. Presuming these are the second, the weakest of them. So we'll replace these, save these, upload those, and this, we're kind of off. So remember what we've done here. We've done a combination of, we're leveraging, number one, the projections, which, believe me, I do a lot of freaking work on, okay, for openers. The other thing is that we're leveraging SaberSim. We're also leveraging our little tweaks, about which type of stacks we want. We're also leveraging our decision to go min uniques 2. We're also, making kind of a judgment about whether to use this contest sims or not, and then what I think I'm going to do what I think I should do is re-upload my new contest file, which it's not saved here, right? I have to upload a new set of entries because there's nothing here in SaberSim that represents that combination. Ooh. Let's try again. Is that going to work? Let's see. Upload these. Thought this worked. Okay, we'll have to work on that. But nonetheless, when it comes down to it, I will be able to late swap because I will figure out how to upload those to my contest page. Let me just see here. Hang on a minute. Lineups, edit entries, and then hockey. Because I was trying to do NFL. Sorry. There you go. So now we'll do it again. Again, what I'm doing here is, wait a minute, contest. I just want to upload here. Wait, select file. I think this is going to work. Let's see. Yes, so it worked. Okay, good. Whew. So now I can see a new set of stack exposures that I have. And now it's mostly Montreal, actually. So Montreal, Islanders, Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado. That makes that all looks good to me. So I've used 25 of these concept sim based lineups, 25 of the straight SaberSim based lineups. We built our big buy-in by hand, and then we are just going to fire this. Clay, why did I choose risk-adjusted ROI and not ROI? Quite honestly, because that's what the SaberSim people suggest is a better representation of how to rank them and you know what I mean? Like, I really haven't done a lot of the individual work on it, and it just seems as though adjusted ROI, when you account for ownership, probably is just a better way to do it. Nothing really other than that. But I guess that's going to do it. So I'm going to just take a quick break. Then we're going to come back at 6:30 and we're going to do the NBA.